This is Faculty Access Workshop for Returning Faculty, Step 3, Setup of Gradebook for a new or old course. So if you have a new course and you want to enter all your assignments and grades for those assignments in Faculty Access, or if you have a course that you've used before but have never set it up for entering your grades, this is what you need to do. For illustration, I will use Green Physics, which is new for me this year. And so from the main screen, make sure that you're in the right school and the right year. And then you can either hit this little icon for the gradebook, or you can go to Gradebook from the pull-down menu. Either one, you get to the gradebook for that course, and now you go to Setup. And there are two things that you need to do to be able to start entering grades. And the first one of those is to set up your categories. So I choose the Category tab, and now I'm going to choose the first category are tests. And the default name I'll say is test. And yes, it is graded, and I don't drop any low grades, so I will put a 0 in there. And for the grading scale, I will choose the standard scale. And for most of my tests, I have 100 points, and this will be the default. You can change that when you create a entry for a specific test if you want more or less than 100 points. Now, for the calculation type, some courses teachers use total points to determine the grade, and that's a good way to do it. I tend to like to use the percentages, so I change this to percentage. And for my factor, tests are 60% of the grade, so I will enter 60 for the factor, and you see that that's 100% because I only have one category. As I add more categories, those percentages will change. So I'll add a second category for labs, and the default name will be lab, and it will be graded. I won't drop any entries, and standard scale again. And for labs, I often put them on a basis of 1 to 10. So I'll put 10 for the maximum there. And for the factor, I'm going to put in 30 for 30%. Now at this point it's 33% until I get my last category in there. So one more category, and that's participation. And I'm just going to put a P in there. For participation, I have a variety of other things in there, so there's no really default name that I need for that. I'll just put a P just to put something in there. And won't drop any grades. Same standard scale. And for this, I often mark that on a range of 100, 1 out of 100, so we'll put that there. And now for the factor here, I do that as 10%. So when I put that in there, then all my percentages come out the same as my factors, and I get 60, 30, and 10% of the grade for the categories that I have. Now that the categories are set up, I can go to the Assignment tab and start entering assignments. And yes, I want to save those categories. And you don't have to put in a due date. You can, but you don't need to. And first thing you do is choose a category. So I'll say a test, and I'll make this Chapter 1. And 100 points is good, factor 1. And description, Chapter 1. And I'm not going to put a due date. I could, but I tend not to worry about dates in this section. The factors, let me just say a little something about that. If you have some project and or let's say you have 3 tests in a semester or a quarter, and the one test is much bigger and you want it to count a much bigger percentage, you could make that a factor of 2 and 3, where the other tests you make a factor of 1, and it would be weighted accordingly in the tests category. So let me just do one more and then I think we're good to go here. So here I will put in a lab, and I'll just call this lab 1. So the default was already lab, so I'll just put in a 1 there, and the maximum point is 10, factors 1, and I'll put in the description, lab 1. I would be more descriptive about that, what it actually is. There are summaries and the like where this description is important so that you know exactly which lab it is or what homework assignment it is. And I think that's it. In all of these things, obviously, if you have any questions, please let me know and I will try to answer them. Thank you.